because you're a Trumper,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure most of the comics are not. Is it, do they treat you differently? Are you in any way ostracized because of that?
So here's what happened is I moved to Texas during the pandemic when they triple closed everything in
Right.
California. And there was no indoor shows, and I went
Right.
and did
Oh,
a
I know.
show outdoors at the Magic Castle performing to people in cars where the cars had to be 6 feet apart from one another.
The
I
car.
swear to
The
fucking God.
cars are going to
I
give it to each other?
swear to
Oh,
fucking
man, that was
God.
a terrible disease, though.
Oh, Bill. And they gave people these clapper things, these little New Year's Eve noisemaker shaky
Oh, I thought you
things.
honk your horn when you like it.
I'm surprised they actually didn't think of that. But they gave people these noisemakers and they would hold them out their windows and it would
Y-
go clack,
y-
clack, clack, clack,
Your
clack.
car has a noisemaker
Yeah,
built into it that sounds like a horn.
I know.
It's called the horn.
Yeah, it's
But
crazy.
even still, I mean, funny, for 6 months, when the horrible forever flu happened, I did the monologue right over there.
Yeah.
This room was all, the pool table was gone, everything. This was the studio
Mhm.
where I did that. Then I did the editorial out there sitting on the lawn. I mean, we did the show here for 6 months. Um, some ways it made you more creative, but it was to do a monologue here.
Yeah.
I wanted to keep the show as close to what it really was. I put on a suit and tie like I always had, um, and we had funny, cutaways to old audiences laughing, which was people loved that bit. And we had a laugh track. I would do the joke here, and then they would play, and I got through it. But I used to just walk out of after that taping
Yep.
uh, and of course, I live, next door. So
Mhm.
I'd walk home and it'd be like, I was so depressed.
Oh yeah.
Because usually after the show, there's a little party and blah, blah. And then I was just like in the silence of my house. And oh, yes, we can't go out. And it was just like, and look, there are diseases in the world that I think might merit that are that dangerous. I just never thought it was that one.
Exactly. 100% with you. So not only was I doing these stupid outdoor shows, but just like you were saying, I'm the only person I think that I know that has a weekly live show in front of a live audience for 12 years every single week.
Right.
So what we had to do, because I do a show where I pull a comedian's name out of the bucket, they do a
Yeah,
minute of stand up
I
and then I
know. I
interview
know.
them.
I see it.
So we ended up, oh, you want to talk about fucking depressing. We ended up having people send in their minute sets. They're in their living room trying to do stand up comedy. We had no laugh track, no recorded audience sound. So we're watching people do their sets and then we would Zoom with them for the interview part. So how's it going? Well, not much of anything happening. Just been in my house playing video. Every interview was the same. Everything was the same for 6, 8, whatever months during this thing. We had no live audiences whatsoever, especially when you're used to that every single week, like I'm sure you were. It's just, you go through the craziest
So
withdrawals. So when I went and visited Texas and they fucking have them indoors and the place is packed and there's no separation, I'm like, what
yeah.
the hell? And my
I had
day,
the same experience going to Florida.
yeah.
The first set I did when they let us, and it was like, oh my God, I remember what freedom felt like.
Exactly. And the day, I joke you not, and this is the thing, because I would argue that we're more center than left or right. I think you'd probably be shocked to know how at least from my perception, centrist we are. I've been watching you for
I
my
don't,
whole life, by the way. My mom always made sure we had HBO, even though I
oh,
was
good.
raised poor. So I kind of get you, and it's crazy that I'm considered a right winger, or that Rogan is, or that Elon is, and these
Well,
people.
I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
anybody who is a Trumper, um, it's a different mindset that, he'd have to be extremely different to me to get me over there.
right.
And he knows that. He knew that when he invited me, and he knew it when I left.
Do you think he's farther
And
right than Kamala is left?
Well, I mean, that's such a hard question to answer because we have to establish where those goalposts are. Do I think there's insanity on the left? Yes, that's why the far left hates me because, as I always say to those far left people, we voted for the same person.
Mhm.
You're just why she lost.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
it's just that I won't get on the crazy train
Right.
with you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get on the short bus to Nuttown.
Yeah.
That's just not where I'm ever going to go. So when you went there, I wasn't going to go along. And by the way, it's a comedic gold mine
Right.
to make fun of far left woke nonsense
Oh.
because it's so anti-common sense, and that's what comedians do.
Exactly.
And when people laugh, it's involuntary, and they know it must be true. And so they, of course, they hated me for doing that because I exposed their nonsense.
Mhm.
But I always made it clear I'm not on the other team. In fact, I would go for their woke nonsense over Trump because he is such a threat to much more fundamental things. I mean, even if he wasn't anti-democratic, which he most certainly is, just the level of corruption in this administration, the way they're just selling it off left and right, meme coins, and the ways that he has invented to bribe him. Tariffs, perfect example. You have tariffs on everything, and then you lift them on people who just maybe voted for you or support. I mean, it's insane. The kids are opening golf resorts all over the world and places where you can buy his shit. It's just beyond, and that's just the corruption part. And then there's the political part. Now, tariffs. We'll see how that goes. At least it's a actual political philosophy, which is not unique. There are many people in the past who have said globalization is, and in many ways it has gone too far, and it did fuck a lot of workers. I mean, the difference is it also helped a lot. There's no $9 jeans at Walmart unless the people are making them in Vietnam, okay? If you bring those jobs back here to America, the jeans will be $35 again. Okay, you can't have it both ways.
Right.
But at least it's a normal debate, tariff. So, first of all, I don't hate at all. I mean, that's my big theme. I'm tired of the hate.
Yeah.
I don't want people to hate each other. So there are things that he's done that, and I told him, and I said it in the piece I did about it, that I do like.
Mhm.
I mean, should Europe pay more for defense? Of course they should.
Yeah.
And was the border out of control? Absolutely.
Yes.
And should the capital have been moved to Jerusalem? Yes. I see he did something this week I liked. He said he's going to put an end to gain of function research.
Yeah.
That's the kind of research
Jesus.
that probably led to the virus getting out of the lab in
Yeah.
Wuhan.
No doubt. Yeah.
So it's not like it. I take everything on a case by case
Yeah.
basis, but the disappearing of people, a lot of this stuff, the ignoring of the judges, Doge was a disaster. I mean, a lot of this stuff is just way too insane and too far out there. And again, talking about a third term, this stuff is just intolerable.
I think he's goofing around when he talks. I think he knows how to joke a
Well,
little
that was
bit.
my editorial 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like once it starts out as a joke,
Uh-huh.
and it's not a joke at a certain
He's not
point.
going to go for a third term.
Well,
You
he
can't
he
believe
finally
that.
said he's
Yeah.
not going to. But
Right.
I mean, the night I was there, he was talking about it with me. He said to me, "Well, I know how you feel about it, so we don't have to argue, but the ways you could do it." And I said, "No, there are not." And that's what they got mad at me that I was honest about the fact that you can have a conversation with him like that,
Mhm.
and it doesn't explode into like he is some kind of Jekyll and Hyde. Because if you did that during a press conference, he'd be like, "You're a disgusting person."
Well, yeah, I can.
And he would just go into
Yeah.
that other guy.
Yeah.
And that guy just, and they're so mad at me for like pointing this out. Like,
Mhm.
I'm just pointing it out.